Another trailer has been released for the new Backrooms film, and I have to say I'm genuinely looking forward to this. A major motion picture has been made, and it's directed by Kane Parsons, the man behind the popular Backrooms YouTube series. He developed his own continuity, his own universe based on the internet meme, the Backrooms, the creepypasta. He's done other projects as well, and his channel is called Kane Pixels. I highly recommend that you check him out, although you probably know who he is already. But what I love about this is that the Backrooms are something that just started as a bit of internet culture based on a photograph of an empty office room and developed into an independent web series and now into a film that's going to get general release and that's starring major actors. Like Chiwetel Ejiofor, he's the main star in this movie. Here's the original 4chan post that started it all back in 2019. And of course, there are other interpretations of the Backrooms made by other creators, but Kane's version is the one that's being turned into a motion picture. So this character, played by Ejiofor, he looks like he works in a department store and he discovers the Backrooms. So he falls between realities into this other dimension of endless liminal spaces. And when he gets lost, his therapist has to try to find him. So this is a horror movie for those people who don't know. The budget is estimated to be just $10 million. It's written by Will Sudik and directed by Kane Parsons. And I think this film is very special. I think this film is very special because it's the mainstreaming of something that began life as a piece of internet culture. And someone said this to me recently, that it's like a piece of modern mythology. And now it's become a major motion picture that will hit cinemas next month. So yeah, it's due to be released in May. Now, whether the Backrooms as a concept interests you or not, that's not the point. The point is, this is a rare example of a totally original concept that emerged organically from internet forums, that came from culture and influenced Hollywood. So not the other way around. And this was not a story or idea that came from Hollywood. So it's something very different and fresh for a Hollywood movie. So the Backrooms is supposed to be this place that you can accidentally fall into. You can no-clip into this reality. There's certain places on Earth where you can fall into this. And it's supposedly also an explanation for so many missing persons around the world. And fundamentally, the Backrooms is not just a place, but it appears to be alive in some way. Ever-changing, remembering rooms from our world, things that get stuck in our memory in a way, storing rooms and reimagining them, mundane things presented in unnerving and creepy spaces and depictions of everyday objects. And within this space, hostile entities also exist. Now, navigating the Backrooms is an unsettling experience, chilling to say the least. It's just you and a seemingly infinite maze of empty, drab office corridors and rooms with just the buzz of fluorescent lights over your head. And you travel through this place and you see that the room designs, the layouts and positions and behaviors of some of the objects, they begin to disobey the laws of physics, making the place feel intentionally disturbing, as if there's some hidden hand behind it all. Everything just feels slightly off. For example, a chair might be way too large or half stuck inside a wall, something like that. Little things, little details that just aren't quite right. And there's no one around, right? There's no one else there, seemingly. But objects might be stacked in a particular way that suggests a kind of organized chaos about it all. And if that even makes sense. So being isolated in a place that feels somewhat relatable and familiar and yet doesn't quite conform to our conventional understanding of physics makes the place feel like a waking nightmare. And I think that's what the Backrooms really plays upon. And that's what makes it very relatable at some primal level. Yeah, so throw in the lack of daylight as well. There's no windows. And you start to lose your sense of time as you walk through this space. And I've often wondered why the Backrooms resonates with us. For as long as I can remember, I've had dreams of walking through corridors of a hotel, endless liminal spaces. Apparently, this is a common dream to some people. And in the dream, the place feels very familiar to me. I feel as though I've been there before, like it was a place that I visited in my childhood. There's a strong sense of déjà vu. But in truth, I know I've never actually been to that place before. So a lot of people have similar dreams to that. And I wonder if this is our brain interpreting something primal, perhaps even deeply ingrained, perhaps even from an evolutionary survival perspective, and giving it a modern visual expression in our dreams. So does this suggest that this common dream has an origin point in the human psyche, perhaps something our ancestors dreamed of? And I suspect that if it is, that very place could have been a forest. So you dream of being lost in the middle of a dark forest that feels both familiar and strange to you at the same time. Unending trees, no sense of beginning or end. You don't know how to get out of it. You're lost. And all the while you feel the sense that you're being watched, even stalked by an unseen predator. This is my pet theory explanation for the primal fear that the Backrooms elicits. Our mind can conjure equally labyrinthian liminal spaces based upon our life experience, of course, but represented with modern urban settings, something that people today are more likely to experience and relate to. But anyway, I do look forward to seeing the Backrooms movie. I do love the concept, but I especially look forward to seeing it with a complete story told over 2 hours. And I'm hoping this will be Kane Parsons' magnum opus and a memorable sci-fi horror movie. Regardless of how good it turns out to be, I just love that something that was generated by users online has reached this stage where it was so massive that it spawned a movie. And I think that's an incredible thing. So that's an achievement all by itself. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I recommend that you check out the trailer to Backrooms. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Computing Forever. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.